Hey there, thought I'd make a quick video of the Todd's Musical Petting Zoo house while it is still the Todd's Musical Petting Zoo house. It is for sale through Sanders Land and Home Realty, and the realtor's name is Kat Dennis, and you can check her out. She's quite helpful, and we'll be able to fill you in on all the details. Before I take you in the house, I'll show you the Constance forest in the side. It's been growing for the last 13 years since I lived here. These are all Christmas trees that have been planted, and they're all growing into quite majestic Norway spruces. So there's a park setting over here with the park benches and the little stage gazebo that I had built for concerts and things. So let's go up the stairs in the front. Got to get that railing fixed. That was bent in a iceberg that fell off the roof. Yikes. So we're at 216 Maple Avenue, Corry, Pennsylvania, which is in the northwest corner of the state of Pennsylvania, not far from Erie. And this is the porch, the enclosed porch, which right now is my little golf emporium, new hobby that I have. And it's quite a nice spot to look out at the park, and on Thursday nights to listen to the music in the summertime. So here's the main, or the second door in, and it takes you into this little cubby here, little entranceway. That door closes nicely, and we're now entering the main living room part of the house. I want to show you one fixture here. This is the three-corner hinge, which was unique to the Sears home, which was sold through catalogs in the early 1900s into about 1930 or 40. And we believe this to be a Sears Hollywood 2069, built somewhere around 1920 or so. So at this end of the room, this is entire front of the house is considered living room, but you have these craftsman colonnades. There's one there and one on the other side. They look like columns to me, but you call them colonnades, and they're quite fancy. And they separate the living room, and you go into what's called the hearth nook. So this space down here is more of a nook as opposed to a full living room. I probably would have called it just a living room extension or a den. It's my television room. But this mantle is quite the feature in itself as part of the Sears legacy. And up above, I've made a little shrine to Edward Lumberg, my mother's father, who worked at Simon's Saw and Steel. And he made saws, and I think there's a connection between that type of fine tool and the building of a house like this. Before there were power tools, you would have needed a Simon's saw or something like it. So from this end, we can look down into the very elegant dining room, which is separated by these bookcases, glass enclosed bookcases. And there's a chandelier we believe to be original. And all of this woodwork on the ceiling and along the walls. This little shelf up here is for photographs. Right now, I've taken most of the photographs down. But there's my parents' original dining room set that they purchased before I was born. Looks kind of small in this great big dining room, but I've enjoyed having it here. So there's two ways out of the dining room, one directly into the kitchen and the other takes you into a hallway where there's bedrooms. There's one bedroom in here. There's the full bath. You keep going down the hallway and there's a second bedroom here, although I use it as a workroom where I always have an auto harp project underway. And there's a third bedroom here, which in the plan says is a sleeping porch, but on this house they went ahead and enclosed it so that it is part of the inside of the house and part of the heating system. So this is the third bedroom, and there's my collection of diner coffee mugs. You can tell I'm kind of a collecting sort of person. And then we come into a kitchen, which is relatively small, but it has that built-in hutch, which is floor to ceiling, the 9-foot ceilings, and it's got a lot of space. And the appliances are fairly new, and there's a little room off the kitchen, which I kind of use as a storage area. And that door leads down to the basement, but I'm going to take you upstairs to the second floor of this bungalow. That's what these houses were called, bungalows, and they called it the Hollywood because bungalows in the early 1900s, when Hollywood was first getting underway, that was the type of home that all the movie stars had. It was kind of associated with the beach areas. You wouldn't have seen too many bungalows in Corry in 1920, because most of the houses were still of the 3- and 4-story Victorian style. There's a nice landing here, which I've always used it to display instruments, in this case my auto harp collection. And it's just a half set of stairs, so it's not a complete second story, but it is quite a useful second story. This is another television room, sitting room. Could even be considered a second living room if you wanted to. And so we got 3 bedrooms downstairs. Up here is the big master suite, which has lots of room for a king-size bed and walk-in closet, another L shape. There's a second bed in here because when the grandkids come to visit, they like to stay close to their mom and dad. But this would have been the suite for Mr. C.F. Bliss and his wife Harriet, who built this house in 1920. C.F. Bliss was quite a Corry businessman. He was the president and manager of the Ajax Ironworks company or corporation, which was founded by his father, but his father died in 1909, so young CF had to take over the family business, and through the 19-teens he lived with his mom over on Smith Street. And then when she passed, he was married, he finally was able to build a house, and this is the house he had built, we believe, using the Sears kit homes. And he built steam engines and gas engines and that sort of thing at the Ironworks foundry, so he would have been able to oversee, if not build himself, one of these kit homes. There's the upstairs bath, and here's the hallway with the built-in dresser. There's lots of drawer space in there. Another closet, little half drawer, hiding places. And this would have been considered a sleeping porch. In the summertime, when it would get really hot, you could put a bed out here, open up all the storm windows, just have screen doors and screens in the windows, and you'd have a nice breeze blowing through, and you could sleep out here. Right now, this is the remnants of the musical petting zoo. which I'll be taking with me when this house sells, and who knows who will be here next. It was built by C.F. Bliss of Corry, Pennsylvania in 1920. And then when he and his wife passed in the 1960s, 1969, the next owner of the house in 1970, they left the house. They didn't have any children, so they left the house to their housekeeper and their driver, who were a husband and wife who took care of the home. And through much of the 50s, they were splitting their time between Florida and Corry, original snowbirds, but they were wealthy people and well-to-do and extremely important to the history of this town. So that's my little tour of the Todd's Musical Petting Zoo house, which is actually originally the C.F. Bliss house of the Ajax Ironworks company. It is built from a Sears catalog. Again, this doorknob plate is only found in the Sears catalogs. You could order them for other houses, but they came with the house. Brass. So that's my tour, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're interested, check this out on Zillow online, Corry, Pennsylvania, and you can get a hold of Kat Dennis, and she can give you the lowdown as far as what the asking price is. Talk to you later. Bye now.